Alrighty, that one is called that one's called Water Park Radio Ad. Alrighty, that one. How about that? Fun little music to start the show while I make sure the audio is working and put the links in the chat. Had an extra hour today, so I thought, oh, why not do another stream? Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you have money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney or Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Having on the gram at Coach Steve Money, and the YouTube channel is, of course, youtube.com/coachstevemoney. Let's get into the questions. First, the baby steps, 7 baby steps, and almost every question that comes up on the show or that I answer, get rid of that, that I answer can go back to these baby steps. All right, and so to just quickly summarize, steps 1, 2, and 3, you do in order, one at a time. And step 1 is save $1,000 for your start emergency fund. Step 2, pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball that is smallest to largest order, as in debt amount. And step 3, you can save 3 to 6 months of your personal expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Step 4, 5, and 6, you do those in order all at the same time. So all your debt snowball still stays in effect even though you're not paying debt off anymore. You're also not paying yourself in the form of a fully funded emergency fund because you've got that done. And now where that small snowball amount goes to is to investing for retirement. 15% of your household income to retirement. If you have kids and you want to help them with college, that's where you would begin saving a little bit per month. Of course, the older they are, the more you would have to save per month. But then any extra of that would be used to pay off your home early, and that's step 6. And step 7, build wealth and give, and that one is eternal. If you don't need any income, like from some of the retirement money, you can put right back into another retirement or another any kind of other not a retirement fund, but a brokerage account. And you can still be investing as long as you don't need the money to live on in retirement. Oh, let's see. Yeah, okay, we're done with that. And now, time to go to the questions. A little drink of water. Alrighty. And I'll refer back to the baby steps and, of course, the new Reddit design that is included on the right side of the reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And we sort by new, and then I have been lately doing them backwards, so I'm at 9 days ago right now. We'll be doing more of these on upcoming streams on Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, right before the Super Bowl on Sunday. That will be this show. Used to be called Ramsey Coach. Probably going to be calling it Answering Your Financial Questions from now on. And so I will change that. If I keep it that name, I'll change the link on my website for that, on my YouTube channel, excuse me. All right, so forced to use credit card is the question from Street Moose 2024. I just started a new job at a company where I'll be on the road a lot to meet with clients. My concern is I'm being forced to open a corporate credit card where I am responsible for making the payments, but am supposedly getting paid back by the company when I submit my expenses. I personally would prefer to use my debit card, right? Of course. But HR and finance have indicated I am really not supposed to do that. Additionally, some of my trip costs would exceed the amount in my bank account, right? I believe Dave already talked about this. He did. So it's what would Dave do flair? And so, you don't do it. You don't do it. If the corporate card, if your corporate wants you to spend money, they need to give you a corporate card with your name on it. And that's what Dave does. When his personalities and production team travel, they have a Ramsey Solutions debit card with their name on it. And that's how you should do that. Them asking you to actually use a credit card and even temporarily being held responsible for the charges is ridiculous. And so, but it makes it easier for them because they don't have to shell out the money as fast. And so that at that point, that becomes a personal decision if you want to work there or not anymore. Let's see, Ambassador Extra 5996. Every dollar question, fairly new to every dollar. I dove into the deep end, and well, don't do that. And have been learning as much as I can. Oh, that, yeah. So you can do that. You can dive into the deep end if it means learning. Not if you can't swim, though. Question, though, I have all my paychecks aligned in the app. I'm showing paycheck 3 is coming in the 31st. Okay. Well, there's not 31 day. This would have been in, what is it? Oh, no, that would have been in January. So, okay. That would have been back in January. There are 31 days in January. However, in the top left on the desktop version, I'm showing January 2024, 3,231 left to budget. This doesn't add up as I have. Yeah, I unfortunately can't answer this question about every dollar. I tried every dollar, didn't like it. I went back to my Google Sheet. Hashtag spreadsheet. Alrighty, this from cold_margins99. Why all the hate for 15-year mortgages? Seems like every financial guru other than Dave Ramsey absolutely hates the 15-year mortgage, describing it as mostly suitable for the risk-averse people. Well, that would be all of us that are following Dave's advice. Dave Ramsey is very risk-averse. Their main argument is that you can just get a 30 and invest the difference. Right. That's the same people that say you can just get a credit card and pay it off every month. And that's great until 1 month you don't. And, everybody that gets a credit card says, oh, I'll just pay it off every month. I'll just buy what I was going to buy anyway and pay it off every month. The problem is most of those people don't end up doing that and end up paying high interest on that amount. Over 30 years, you'll come out ahead. However, there are two big problems with this approach. You have to buy a house that you can safely afford on a 15-year mortgage. Right. A 30-year mortgage allows you to buy more house than you should. So that will have you being house poor. You'll buy too much house. And let's see what the person says is the second thing. The second thing is also people say, I'll get a 30 and I'll pay it like a 15. Again, they say that. How many do that? Not many. Let's go to the rest of the question here for 2. You have to invest the difference consistently over 30 years. Call me a pessimist if you want, but I highly doubt most people can actually do this. Right. I mean, everybody says they're going to do exactly what they have to do in order for it to financially make sense. But doing that, saying you're going to do it and doing that are two different things. And so with the 15-year mortgage, you definitely pay less interest, and it does have to be paid within the 15-year. Now, of course, you can refinance and any other of that other dumb stuff that people do. You can do a HELOC on it and so forth still. But unless you do stupid things like that, then it's paid off in 15 years. So like, you know, you would like pay 5 years on it and then refinance into another 15-year mortgage. You would go into a 10 at that point. And that kind of helps make you pay it off in the 15 years. This from Maleficent, Garlic 26. I never saw that movie, Maleficent. Debt free. Long story short, I paid $16,000 in student loan and $25K on a career starter loan off over the past 2 years, and I'm debt free. Great. Currently 24 years old, just a baby, with a gross income of $90K. Great. Been a Dave Ramsey fan for about a year now. I always knew about him since being from the Nashville area. Great. There's no ... so there's no more. There's just an extra W here, but that's great. Maybe a W for winning. That radio guy, 87, says Dave Ramsey is back on the air in Tampa, Florida. Alrighty. All right, flip back to a business talk station. Okay, cool. I see. Stations often change formats like that, get sold, change formats. That does happen. And so another home for Mr. Ramsey on the radio. Excellent. Counter 1 asks, what price range home should we buy? We have a combined income of just above $100K. And so by my pal Sid's rough formula, that is 2.5 times the household income. And so that would be a $250,000 house. And let's see, should we go for a home around the 150 range? That's approved, which would be easy to pay off. Yes, it will, in stack cash, but not exactly what we're looking for as we start a family or go for one around 350K. So that would be too much. Yep, but appreciates more. We're close to a standard down payment, but the big picture seems to edge towards a pricier home. Oh, I hate it when it's just like 3 more words. The big picture seems to edge towards, it doesn't have to edge anywhere. It doesn't have to, I don't appreciate that kind of talk where it's, you know, somebody says, well, it seems like that's what it is that has to be done. No, you get to choose. It's your life and your money, and so you get to choose how much house you buy. And again, for Mr. Ramsey, it wouldn't be a 351 with that income. It would be a 251. And again, on the 15-year fixed rate mortgage. And if interest rates go down, you can, of course, refinance. So, and you don't wait like until some magic time within the next year that rates will presumably go down, because you just don't know. You never know. So you buy it when you can afford it. And then if the interest rates come down, then you can do that. But yeah, around 250 for a 100K income it can be the mortgage on it. Now, if the bigger down payment you save, so if you save $100,000 down payment to put on that 350, then by all means, you can get a $350,000 house, and you'll immediately have the equity. You won't be paying PMI. You'll immediately have 100K equity in it. Music in LS says, pay down mortgage or save for down payment. That one, you would pay down the mortgage because you might not move, even though you're planning to. Always in motion is the future, and so you don't know for sure that you'll move. But let's see if the paragraphs in the question here change anything. They almost never do. My wife and I are both 31 and we're on baby step 6. All right. Note that other than our mortgage, and we make a combined income of 175K. Okay. Current house is 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. And we have our first child on the way. Okay. Well, you need 2 bedrooms for that. So it seems like you could stay in that house longer. We know we'd like to upgrade into a larger home in the same neighborhood over the next 3 years or so, as we continue to have more children, but we're not sure if we should be continuing to pay down our mortgage or stacking cash for the next down payment. Pay off the house, pay down the mortgage. Because guess what? When you sell that house, even if you do move into a bigger house, a more expensive house, when you sell that one, then you get all that money back. Except of course the interest. But you would get all that money back. But since you don't know for sure, you're talking about in the next 3 years, anything could happen. And of course, you're not out of bedrooms until there are 2 children in a 3-bedroom. So I don't see the need to worry about that quite yet. So in that case, it's baby steps, steam ahead. And so if you're on 6, you do 6 instead of going back down to 3B to save for a down payment where it may or may not happen. That again, it can still be your down payment. It'll just come out of money that you get from selling the house when you sell it. All right, that's from Happy Pancake Person. Paid off our first debt. So for a bit of context, my husband and I just started FPU. We completed baby step 1 and currently on baby step 2. Excellent. I cannot express the joy of paying off the first debit. It truly feels like we can attack the rest. You absolutely can. You can do the first one, you can do the second one as well, and so on and so on. Yep, you can do all of it. And that's why it's like it is. That's why the recommendation, the advice is to pay off the smallest debts first. And that way you almost immediately here, as soon as you save up the $1,000 for step 1, and then you pay off the first debt on step 2, generally those 2 things would happen very fast. And so you would be moving from one step to another, progress, and then you would be paying off the first debt and moving up to the second lowest debt, and that's progress as well. And that keeps the average human motivated, and that keeps them doing this plan. Whereas if it was like the highest interest first, that kind of thing, if that's the highest debt as well, that's going to take a long time to pay off, and so you don't get those quick wins early. And so this plan is for everybody to do. That means nobody will have a problem with it if they stick to it. Even the smarter people, even the more disciplined people, they can do these exact steps too and be very successful, even more so because they are more disciplined. Alrighty, from deleted, must have got too much heat. 19 comments. Got 4 upvotes though, at least. Law school, let's see. Hello, I'm a fan of Dave and a couple of family Dave listeners who practice the baby steps. Excellent. Want to ask for advice about law school. Specifically, those who follow Dave's advice and also went to law school. I have offers from lower ranked and thus worse schools for job outlook. Where I could attend for under $25K in tuition across 3 years. I would have to take out loans for any tuition expenses. And that right there, Dave's out. He's not doing that. You work for the money, grants, scholarships. See if you can find a company that will pay for it for you. Anything but taking out a loan for it. So loans just aren't the deal. So I mean, there's no need to read any more of that because that's just not the advice. So if you're gonna take loans out, you can do that. That's not the advice. Scarab Kid. 22, financial roadmap tool. Does anyone else use the roadmap tool and have this frustration? I don't know what that is. Is that part of every dollar, or is that some other type of app or tool on somebody else's website? I don't recall seeing that on Dave's. Let's take a look really quickly. Let's see, free tools. Let's see, financial roadmap. Nope, not seeing it on there. So I don't know if that's part of every dollar or what that is. I do have the investment calculator already up just in case there's a question about it. Okay, let's see. Baby Clip 2 Stu clearly says pay off all debt except the house, so I don't have the mortgage listed there. Yep. However, if you don't list the mortgage in your debts, it doesn't get factored in calculating your current net worth. Okay, well, that's a problem with that tool then. And so if it's integrated in part of every dollar, I don't know why it wouldn't be. If you do list it on baby step 2, it messes up the progress for everything downstream. Has anyone else figured out how to make this display properly? I'm a visual guy and want to know. So I mean, this is a problem if you're using somebody else's financial roadmap tool. And then integrating the baby steps into it, because almost no other financial people are going to say no debt. So baby step 2 flare here for this person, and so it just depends on whether that's in. If it's in, it obviously should work correctly if it's in every dollar. If it's not in every dollar, then don't use that tool then. Or either you have to do that manual calculation by yourself and add that in your head to the net worth number. Add the equity in the house to your net worth. Man, 28, paying off $700K in debt. Learning Finance 1 is the username. Update number 3, we're officially 2 months in. Excellent. The wife and I officially hit our second major milestone. Over this month, we had a major setback. That will happen. But regardless, you are in a better place than you were before you started doing this stuff. One of our vehicles suffered a drivetrain failure. Yep, that's about it. So we did not hit our monthly 20K payoff target. Yep, that 20K is significant. Granted, 700K, you would hope some of that student loans and that they have good incomes. And paying off 20K per month, I'm thinking that they probably do. And so that way, what does that take a month for you to buy? You know, you can even buy a $20,000 car. You know, you can buy a cheaper one, of course, but you would at least have the ability to basically just cash flow that replacement for that car. That being said, we still managed to cash flow a new transmission. Oh, they put just a transmission in it. All right. Yeah, you can do that. It just depends on how much it costs to fix whatever catastrophic problem a vehicle has, and shave off 15K from our debt. Okay, great. So that was only $5,000 to put a new trans in it. And so I guess they're all good. Let's see, we're motivated to continue this journey despite the lofty numbers, right? Like I said, even if you had to spend all $20,000 of your snowball on a new to you car, then you're still better off than you were before, because you actually had that money. Now, if you're not doing the baby steps, if you don't have a snowball, if you're just spending most of that, then you don't have that money to be able to address that emergency. So excellent. Oliver's mom, 19, 1 month in, 1,100 paid off. Excellent. I'm hoping posting monthly will help keep myself accountable. That's a great idea. It certainly can. We are 1 month into our debt payoff plan, and as of today, we paid off $1,112.95. Excellent. Went a little too low there on the webcam. That is 2 small credit cards of mine, 2 of my husband's student loans, and half of our vet credit card. I'm also extremely glad we had the emergency fund, as we had an emergency vet visit for our cat who has very bad upper respiratory infection. We were able to pay the $300 vet bill with it, and we'll have it back up to $1,000 next Friday. It prevented us from putting $300 onto our credit card. That's baby step 2 flare. So yeah, that's excellent. So that's 1 month into it, and they paid off 2 small credit cards. And I need to get a clamp for my chair. I don't like to talk about my chair. 2 loans and half a credit card. So that's 4. That's 4.5 different debts. 4.5 different debts in the 1 month. And so I'm guessing they make a pretty penny as well, but that also means they have a pretty penny in debt. Best way to close a Coinbase account, I do not know about that. I would imagine you can just cash out and have that money transferred to your bank account, and you say bye-bye. So let's see, $200, yeah. Just want to make sure the funds won't take time to settle or something. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know how the Coinbase works, and so you could probably just Google that. But perhaps one of the 9 comments perhaps informed List King there that was asking about that. Where's X? It's where Twitter used to be. Can't wait to get my tax refund so I can pay off debt. All right, just filed and expecting $7,600 refund. Stating combined. I now know that I should aim for a $0 refund in the future. Exactly, I was going to bring that up, but for now, looking forward to getting this money back so I can pay off the student loans. Right. So for last year, it's too late to get that money back until they send you the refund check. So, but going forward. Can you imagine what you could have done on the baby steps? You could have applied that money in each check rather than having the government save that up for you, you giving them an interest-free loan while they just hold on to that for you and then they give it back to you. A lot of people think that, oh, it's great that I get a big tax refund, but they don't add like any interest. For example, if you got that money back, instead of getting $7,600 at one time, if you had 1/12 of that every month, you could put that on one of your debts and then you would be paying less interest. So it actually costs you money to get the lump sum. And so lump sums you never do. You always want to do as much and as soon as possible, both into paying off debt, so you lower the interest, and also into investing, because then you get more growth out of it. New cat, old school feel. Okay. Just got to notice that my escrow account is $1,350 short and will increase my mortgage payment. Is it an emergency? No, because you got the notice, and you can, like, within a month, you could just cash flow it. If you're on baby step 2, it doesn't say, oh yeah, baby step 2. So then you would just pay minimums on the debt, and you would put your snowball amount towards the escrow, but otherwise you can just pay a higher mortgage payment. Because I mean, basically it's the same thing. It's just getting the escrow account back up to where it needs to be, and so that's not an emergency because you know about it in advance. So no. Let's see, from 55 for 12 months. So yeah, I mean that's so that over that time it gets to the amount that it needs to be. Let's see, this is a problem and will basically make me house poor. Yeah, and escrow shortages do happen because they'll calculate it incorrectly, or if insurance goes up, That's not the escrow account's problem. You have to be notified that the insurance is going up, and then let them know, and then they will adjust the mortgage payment. That includes money being sent to escrow. So if you can cash flow the $1,350, do that and just send them and see if they will allow that instead of increasing the mortgage to $1,555. But otherwise, that's all the same thing. And so that amount looks like it's going to be more than a total of $1,350. So you would actually save money if you put in the $1,350 now. Goodness gracious. Alrighty. Now greater than 50% of my income will now be going to my mortgage. Okay, so if $185, yeah, if $185 more is the difference, and that's going to take it up over 50%, that means you are already way over the 25% that Dave recommends. So this is where Coach Steve Money says you're doing it wrong. And yeah, you have too much house. And so depending on other expenses and such, might want to sell the house. Just depends on the other expenses and so forth. But yeah, that's too much. 50% is too much. Definitely house poor. And you already were house poor. You just weren't admitting it. Silver State Rusty asked thoughts on the kid making $25K a month. Oh, that was a caller, I think. And that does happen. Just curious what Reddit's take is on the 20-year-old that called in today saying he's making $25K a month doing vague social media influencer sales. Yeah, I mean, they do get those kind of calls every so often. And I mean, you got to appreciate the hustle now, whether the vague social media influencer sales are anything immoral or anything like that. That's a different story. But otherwise, if kids want to work, I mean, it doesn't just, they don't just send you a $25K check a month. You have to be doing stuff for that. And so if the kid's willing to put, 20 years old, a kid, I caught 35-year-olds kids as well. So I get it from Silver State Rusty there. So the 20-year-old, I mean, that's not really a problem as far as making the money. So I don't know what the poster here is probably asking more about, because he didn't say exactly what it was, that it could be something illicit or immoral, or, take your pick on that. But otherwise, Dave is fine with people making a lot of money for working. So, without it being something illegal, illicit, immoral, that kind of thing, there's no problem with it. Switch Serious 6954, advice please. I know Dave Ramsey says to do all debt from smallest to largest. See, it should end right there. Because the next stuff that comes is, well, I think I can do it better, or I don't want to do that. I want to do it this way, which is fine. You can do it a different way without consulting the Reddit. You don't need any validation to do something you want to do with your own money. You are more than welcome to do that. Let's see. So let's see what comes next here. There's more too, so let's open the link. It's not that much, but let's see. Here we go. Is there ever a time that it's better to go out of order? No. I have 500 ready to go. I was going to try to make an offer on one of my older debts. So if it's in collections, you do put that to the end, okay? Apologies. Serious 6954, apologies. I thought you were just going to try to do debt avalanche or something like that, but no. Instead, you being able to make an offer on an older debt, if you're not current with it, it's probably in collections. And so if it's in collections, you would put that to the end and pay off your current debt first. Let's see, but if I apply to smaller debts, I can knock out about 7 small debts. Wouldn't that be great? So, and it's still 500. Either way, it's 500 that you're not in debt anymore. I'm on the fence about what to do because I don't want to face a lawsuit if these older debts decide to come after me. They'll give you every opportunity to settle before that, before a lawsuit. Let's see, on a side note, the majority of the consumer debt is in my name only. My main source of income is state disability retirement, which is not garnishable. Okay. So that's kind of your judgment proof there. And so I would take the Dave advice where if it's in collections, you put that to the end of the other debt and you take care of all the other debt. And that always find that very interesting how people have, talking about $500 will knock out 7 small debts. Why? How do you have just a couple dollars in debt for everything? Why? I mean, maybe they thought they build credit score or something like that. I don't know how that happens. I don't know why you do that. Oh, let me put $20 here and $35 here on this card and that kind of thing. I do not get it. What up, Sid? Okay, so working on baby step question with retirement, from Dr. Thumps Gaming. Got excited Sid was here. Okay, so working on baby steps. I was looking at saving for retirement with the recommended 15%. Okay, that is of gross household income. That is baby step 4. My wife and I are both teachers in Texas. AJ, shout out there. Shout out to AJ. So when we retire, we still receive a monthly check. That is the summative amount. Interesting. Good vocabulary, I think that's a word. Of the past 3 years as teacher, we would be looking to bring in 120 to 160K yearly in retirement. Depending on paychecks, we are both in CTE and have higher salaries than regular teachers. Great. My question is, since we would be still be bringing in 120K a year, what would the recommended amount be toward retirement as we still? Yeah, it's going to be the same amount. It's going to be 15%. And so if you get money on top of that, Social Security, any kind of, disability, anything else that you would get that's extra other than your retirement account, all that is just gravy on the biscuit and makes your life much, much better, much, much easier to deal with in retirement. But Dave would like you to have 15% of skin in the game there. 15% of gross of your household income. Funny underscore money. Tithings before debt. Christians believe in tithing off the top, first thing. And so that's what they did. Let's see. Jade told a caller in the show today to continue making donations to their church, 10%. 10% minimum. That's what Christians do. Even though the caller had credit card right in debt. Yeah. The caller even questioned whether she should stop tithing with all of the debt to pay off. And Jade confirmed that she still should. Yeah. I get that Dave is religious and everything, and that's all you need to know. Again, stop. It doesn't matter. But how can he stand by all of his statements about it's because he is a Christian. Because he's religious and everything. And so I don't understand. I know you don't think it's worth it to do that, but guess what? Christians do. And so people get to make that decision for themselves. And so if you're a Christian, you tithe right off the top. Yeah. Let's see, 10 exclamation point percent goes to the church. Seems ridiculous when someone has 6-figure debt and very counter or something. No. It doesn't. Christians believe in tithing. That's all you need to know. Nobody's saying that you have to do it. So well, I don't know why people get upset about something like that, where if they're not Christian, they're worried about Dave's advice for Christians. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So, but that happens all the time. People just want to argue about something or think that they're right about something. It happens. Today, _9972, Dave Ramsey, advice on balance transfer for cards. No, even the zero balance ones do have a fee in it, and out of a fee for doing so. And guess what? That puts you more in debt. Also, with the balance transfer cards, guess what? Even if it does have a 0% interest rate on it, that interest rate isn't forever. So after 6 months or 1 year or even 2 years, guess what the average person will do on that? They will pay as little as possible to get that done by the entire end of that 0% financing. So again, you're already in more debt for paying the fee for the balance transfer. And then on top of that, you're lackadaisical about paying it off faster. And so that's the same thing with debt consolidation, as he calls it, because it just you're moving the money around, and by doing that, you think you're doing something for it, but you're not doing anything again except moving it around. The advice is to pay it off instead of doing that, because the next thing you know, you look up and there's 1 month until that interest rate is over and you haven't paid off hardly any of it. Or even if you've been trying to, then you have something else that comes up, some emergency or something like that comes up, or some other thing where you have to pause. You have some kind of emergency and you have to pause the debt snowball, pause the baby steps, and then you can't pay it off by that time, and then you get hit with all that interest. How about that? That doesn't sound good to me, does it to you? Sid has comments. Sorry, Sid. Opening a store card on a single purchase. Yeah. Yep. That's because I was asking about the previous question where the person had 7 different debts that total $500. So yeah, get the free t-shirt or whatever. Let's see, counting on that retirement plan also ties them to that employer for their whole life. That's it as well. So that means they have to teach all the way until retirement. Yeah, exactly. Investing the 15% gives them freedom to change careers if they want to. And Sid also says they always say tithing is a personal choice, but generosity is a valuable quality. And that's why I need a co-host as well, because I don't think of everything all at the same time, and that also helps with having co-hosts on the Ramsey show as well. Is because one person will think of one thing that the other person wouldn't think of, and vice versa. And so that would be great. Hopefully, I will have a co-host one day. That would be excellent. This is from Usual Difficulty 5784, house buying opinion. Context, we have debt quite a bit. My sister-in-law is moving, but is well off and owes very little on her home. All right, so the problem, you stop it right there and you ask, if that wasn't your sister-in-law, if you weren't personally related to that house, would you see that house on a listing and would you buy that anyway? So that's the first thing to do. If you're just doing it because it's your sister-in-law and it just came up, that's not a good idea. That's the same thing as becoming a landlord just because you're moving. That's not a good idea either. So only be a landlord if you want to be a landlord. If you want to be a landlord, what was that song? If you want to be a cowboy, I think. Well off and owes very little on her home, right? She wants us to rent our house from her. an upgrade from a 1-bedroom, 770 square foot apartment to a 2,500 square foot house. Yeah, that's not, I thought you were going to try to buy it. You don't want to have business dealings with friends or family. Don't do that. Because, I mean, something could happen at Thanksgiving and then she tosses you out of the house, right? So do not do that. We currently pay $1,400 a month. She is willing to let you pay $2,000 a month, and then in 2 years let us buy her house for $350 to $450. She said she could get now. I do think this is a good investment into the future. We want to have babies, and I think the house, it can grow in what it's worth. But right now, it seems a lot of, yeah, it does. And so, but the main reason would be, you know, not. I mean, if you can look at the idea of renting something and then trying to buy it later, but you have to think of it first. You can even take the family part out of it. Even though that's an immediate no on that. But then you see if the math makes sense even after that. And if the math makes sense, then you find something similar to that, and then you can do that. But probably what you do is you stay in your 1-bedroom for 2 years and then buy a different house for $350 to $450. How about that? Let's see. It says, they always say tithing is a personal choice, but generosity is a valuable quality. That's correct. And Christians, that's what Christians believe in. That's part of the Christian doctrine. Needs a diagnostic procedure, but has crappy insurance. Alrighty. Well, hello. I need to do this simple procedure, but I'm being charged almost 3K copay. How do I go about this? I'm making decent money and working lots of overtime trying to pay off other debts. So if you say you need one and you can't put that off until after you pay off your debts, if you need one, a medical procedure, that I would say would be an emergency, and so you would pause debt snowball and not pay other debts. You continue to work the overtime, but you cash flow doing that procedure, that 3K copay. So yeah, you just pause. I would say it's a medical procedure, and again, if it's a need that you can't put off until you pay off your other debts, then get on it. Do that. Pause, baby steps, and then do that. Baby step order is never changed. It is paused though if you have an emergency. The water guy 2. Break compound interest down for me, Barney style, please. I thought I did this one already. Sometimes it switches the order, or sometimes the person, if they don't get the answers they like or enough answers, they post the same question again. Oh, remind me to get a clamp. I did put that in my grocery list. So when I go to groceries on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'll get a clamp from the Walmart to fix the chair. All right. So following days of advice for years cannot grasp the idea of compound interest inside a mutual fund. All right. It appears to me, based on my Fidelity activity, that I have interest that compounds annually. I have some funds that have long-term capital gains that automatically reinvest into more shares. Right, basically it just means compounding, just means grow. It just goes up, 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 up. Let's see, I've invested $6K for a year for the previous 3 years, and my Roth IRA balance currently $22K. In my mind, I'm imagining that both what else happening in his mind? Imagine that most of my growth is going to come from the share value increasing over the years and not so much the once a year interest compounding. Unfortunately, due to circumstances of the previous few years, I've had to invest in lump sums all at once. Okay, yeah, that's not advised, which seems to be the worst way to do it, right? That's going to be less money, but if you don't have the money and you only get the money at a certain time, then you don't have any choice in that really. You just don't want to save up a lump sum and then do it. But if you're like only given a lump sum or paid a lump sum at one time, then you have no choice, and that's still better than not investing at all, obviously. Let's see. Based on most of my shares being bought at the same price and having large losses or gains each day. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. You don't have the dollar cost averaging of buying, whether it's up or down, that kind of thing, constantly. I'm aware this is going to happen. I'm riding a roller coaster, but I want to make sure I'm on the right track. It's hard in these early years, seeing the small growth and imagining those large growth years towards the end that I see on the graphs and calculators. Yeah, but they happen. And let's say, sorry, the post is all over the place, but I'd like to get a better understanding of how my funds are actually making me money. It's just when the price goes up. So like, let's see. So like Apple today went up 0.86%. So that means you made that much times your basis in Apple inside whatever mutual fund you have. And so that's how that works. So, and let's see. So, NASDAQ was the only negative for a long while. I guess at the end of the day, it finished up at least a little bit positive. So that's good news. So, but yeah, it's every bit of this here. And so, yeah, so if you're only buying, the problem is if your lump sum comes in here at the end of the pandy crash right there, and then it starts going up, that's awesome. It's less awesome if you're at the previous high of the NASDAQ here, and then you buy there with your lump sum, and then you're not buying all this downturn, and then your next lump sum comes in too, like right now when it's almost back at that previous high. And so, yeah, but that's how that works. Boom, boom, boom. Time is it? 7 o'clock. All right. Curse of Oak Island, new episode tonight. So I'll be posting the preview for next week's episode and my no cap recap of that episode later on tonight. Now let's do 2 more. How about that? 1 girl, 2 cats. All right. 2 is better than 7. Paid off 50% of consumer debt in 1 month. Excellent. Hello, everyone. I'm new to the whole financial literacy thing. All right. I'm 22. That's a fine age to be embracing the whole financial literacy thing instead of waiting till you're very old like some of us. And finally taking control. Excellent. I recently moved out and moved back in with my parents January 1st. Okay. Thought that moving out would be away from parents, but apparently it's moving out from maybe roommates or something like that. I can probably say that I paid off 50%, and yes, it's not advised for adults to live with parents. It is advised that they move out and fly away and be free, but if you don't have to pay rent, that definitely does help with your snowball. No doubt about that, but Dave likes adults to live on their own and not with parents. I feel great and confident I can tackle the rest. Yeah, I mean, that would be really 50% of consumer debt in 1 month. That would be really motivating, I would think. Have about 150 to get, or 1,500 to go, so it was only 1,500, so not that much. So does that mean next month you could do that again, or had you had some money saved? Maybe some extra savings went to that. So I wanted to post just in case someone else is in the same position as me. Moving back is hard, but it is worth it. I was able to spend very little throughout the month to make lump sum payments. Again, you don't do that. You do it as you have it, but in 1 month, maybe he did do it as he had it, and it wasn't actually waiting. I mean, a month for a credit card, you would probably just pay them one at a time. Unless you're hashtag Matty Bags, where you send them money every day. He liked doing that. And the last one we'll do here is Brian _7982. Need help with investing at the Vanguard. Hello, I'm extremely new to investing. Let's go to the full question. Here we go. Extremely new to investing. My company has a 401k through Vanguard. Right now, I am in a targeted retirement date fund. Beep, 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 beep. Well, 41. I mean, that's still 25 or 24 years. Retiring at 64. There's still 25 years in there, so I would not do target date funds. I would not restrict yourself to that because that's going to make less money over the whole thing. So I would be more aggressive now. And of course, do Dave's 4-way split. I do not really feel like it's going to make me the money I need to catch up. I've had cancer for the last 8 years. So I never really got a chance to start investing. Now that I'm 41, I would like to try to catch up or just make the most money I can for retirement. That would not be in that target date fund. Right now, I contribute 8% and I get half company match. So that would be an extra 4%, which you don't count the match. You may not have it. If you have any bills due to, cancer treatment, that kind of thing, you may not have more than 8%, but you should put in 15% of your money if you do have it, of your gross income. I hear the terms mutual funds and ETFs and honestly do not understand it. If anyone is familiar with Vanguard, I would love to know where to put my money and what the percentage of contributions would be great. Also, I did not understand why people hate Dave's advice on investing. That's because a lot of people don't want to put in the work to find mutual funds that beat the index, and so they just go with the index. And a lot of times when people say ETF, they think they are talking about index funds, but there are some non-index funds that are ETFs as well. And an ETF and an index fund is a mutual fund. What Dave recommends for retirement is a managed mutual fund. So is he wrong? No, don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Have no credit card debt. Excellent. School loans. And are working on paying off my wife's car this year. Great. His car is paid off and we have ample amount for emergency funds. As my cancer is rare and could come back at any time. Okay. Once we get her paid off, then the extra will go to the house. Okay, you're doing it all great, and so it just depends if you can do, do the 15% rather than pay the house off early. And that should be 15% of gross household income. So, if wife is working, she should be doing that as well. I know Dave is big on life insurance, so you can't get it. Understandable. I would look into things that you can get, like any type of thing you can get that isn't going to cost you $1 billion. Let's see, company offers a life insurance policy that is 5 times my salary if I pass. So I'll probably never leave this company. I was counting on that to help. Yeah, so I mean that's great that they offer that, and if you can't be denied for that, that is fabulous. That is half of what you would need. Because it's be 10 times the salary is what you would get in life insurance if you were buying it yourself, if you were able to. And so that does lock you into that company, but that is a fabulous thing for you that they do offer that you can get that. I would also look into, again, the no reject policies are generally very, very expensive. Let's see, right now I am 1 year and 3 months in remission. Excellent. That is awesome to hear. Many prayers going your way. So let's see, where are we? So we did explain mutual funds. 15%, if you can afford it. I know you're trying to pay off the car right now as well, and you do have a bigger emergency fund to help with medical bills should any others come up. So is do 15 if you can, and try to find another way to cover that other 5% or 5 times your salary that will not be covered by your company. Alrighty. Mortgage payoff insurance for the uninsurable. I was thinking about that, Sid. I was trying to think about anything else like an alternative thing, and that's what it was, Sid. What would I do without you, Sid? What would I do without you? Mortgage payoff insurance for the win. Alrighty, so I guess that'll be it for this bonus episode of the artist formerly known as Ramsey Coach, which is now being called Answering Your Financial Questions. And this is the 60th stream of that. So right now you would go down, go to my page and go down to the Ramsey Coach. And if I keep that name within the next couple of weeks, I'll change this playlist name to Answering Your Financial Questions. There were 59 in there, and today it'll make 60 of those. Below that, there's a music playlist, and I have 7 or 8 Ramsey adjacent songs that are in there, so give those a listen if you're so inclined. There's also 364 Ramsey Show After Show shows, which I used to do every day, but then I changed jobs, and so now I can only do 1 to 3 a month. So 3 at most a month, and so that's why I started doing the Ramsey Coach Show, which is now the Answering Your Financial Questions show. So there's plenty of content to listen to, plenty of different Reddit questions to hear my answers to. I have a bunch of other playlists as well. I've been doing more shorts lately, and they've been getting me more subscribers, up to 807 subscribers now. And so thank you, Okies. Because again, Oak Island, Curse of Oak Island. Next week's episode preview, and also tonight's episode, No Cap Recap, will be out late tonight after the episode is over and after I have time to do the recap. And the Ramsey Show After Show, I will be doing 2 of those upcoming, and that is on February 13th, which is Fat Tuesday, hashtag Mardi Gras, and President's Day, George Washington's birthday, something like that, is the February 19th. So February 13th and 19th are those, and you can send in pictures for show and tell if you have anything you want to share to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And one more time, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track. And that is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere, even Oak Island. You can, as long as it's got to have internet. Email about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Also Cash App, $CoachSteveMoney. And you can also send a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at coachstevemoney. And of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/coachstevemoney. Thank you so much for watching.